I am a washed 2K player. The reason why that I know that I'm washed in this game is because I've learned the hard way that stats like these that you're seeing on your screen here, they don't matter. They don't matter. You see, you can win, you can post stats like these in the game, and well, you'll still be considered trash. Or somebody would tell you that these type of stats wouldn't work against what they feel as though is competent competition. And some of them would even go to the point to say it wouldn't work against them. And then even if you showcase it working against what they deem competent competition or working against them, you're still trash. The goalpost will always move. But this video, I'll be speaking to those of you out there who may not know that you're washed. This video will go over the 5 signs to look at and become aware of that'll let you know that you're washed. Now, before I get into this list of washing, I just want to say, what's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? I did not last the entirety of the year, particularly because I was kind of coerced or pressured to just start making some 2K content again. And why not? You know, why not? The difference after taking the entire season 2 off and getting into other games and recording other games and enjoying life on the outside of 2K, I still do miss the engagement from supporters who, who really like the content that I produce. And since you support it, I still want to be able to give you something to view and watch and look forward to from a channel. But outside of that, let's get into these 5 things or 5 signs that'll let you know that you're washed, just like I am. The first sign that I want to talk about is a subtle sign. It's a sign that you don't really notice until you pay attention to it, till you start to recognize it. The first sign that lets you know that you're washed is that you begin to laugh at things that once made you angry. You see, a lot of us, all of us who have played 2K or played video games in general, was in a stage at a point in time where that game would make us irate, furious. Some of us have broken controllers, punched monitors, put holes in walls. I mean, we were just destructive creatures because the said game that we were playing made us so angry that we just lashed out to represent that anger. But the first sign to pay attention to when you become washed is that now the things that once used to make you mad make you laugh. Make you laugh. Whether you out there getting left, right at the death behind screens, you're getting backdoor cut on, you're getting ripped by just standing there and they have already mistimed they reach and the flail of the reach animation causes you to get ripped. Whether you're a guard and you're getting blitzed or big and you're allowing and 2K allows the smaller guy or the other big to just sprint in from the 3-point line and elevate to God to get the rebound, even though you and him have the same rebound rating and badge. Instead of getting mad at those things, you just start to laugh at those things. And the reason why you start to laugh at those things that once made you mad is because your care has dwindled. You stopped caring. You stopped caring for things that you once cared about because there's a realization at hand. You're starting to realize that it's just whatever. It's just whatever. And that sign is the subtle sign that starts to let you know that you're washed. Now, as I continue through this list, some of you may be able to relate to all these things. I'm not going to cover everything that I believe that you will experience as a washed person, but I picked 5, or as a washed gamer, and I picked 5. And there may be some things that you can add to the list in the comment section once you get through with this video. But that's just the number one thing. That's the first thing I want to discuss. The second thing and second sign that lets you know that you are washed is you start to take extensive breaks. You see, let me explain this to you. We all are 2K gamers. There was a point in time where 2K was the thing you played at any spare time that you had to give in that day. Whether it was you just getting out of school, you coming home, before you even do your homework, take off your shoes, take off your school clothes, you was all loaded up in the park on 2K. You were loaded up in there just to be in there, just the environment. And then for those of you who came on later, it would be the neighborhood for you and the city. You just want to be in the environment of the atmosphere of 2K before you decide to do anything else related. And then the hours. I'm sure some of us, and I'm not the only one, and I'm not excluding myself from these signs. I'm not excluding myself from these descriptions of things you used to do. A lot of the descriptions that I'm giving you are descriptions that I have already done. I've been through them. But a lot of us, we have spent an unhealthy amount of time on this game at a point in time. I mean, getting on this game at 8 a.m. and you not turning it off until 1 or 2 a.m. the next day. Constant. Back to back to back to back to back to back to back games. Eating while playing the game. I mean, when you think about it and you look back, you're ashamed of it now because now your breaks are extensive. You see, now you can't make it through a 12, 14, 16 hour 2K experience. You can't make it anymore. You see, now instead of playing the game while eating, you will play the game, go eat, then come back to it. Maybe, depends on the time. You will eat, then play the game, then go eat again later on in the day, and may not come back to it. You see, if you get on at, say it's your day off, and you get on about 11, right then and there, that lets you know, wash. Because there was a point in time where before you even brushed your stank mouth, your game was on. And if your boys was on, you hooping. You hooping. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. It just happens. But you was hooping. And you would hoop all day. Now, you get up, you brush your teeth, you get in the shower, you might watch a little morning show, a little sports talk show. It's a lot of things that you'll do before you load up 2K because now 2K has become a chore for you. Then you load it up, you play for a couple hours. Then it's like, man, I gotta go get some food or something. Or let's just take a break right quick. Then that break happens. And then you'll be like me and you might take a full season off. You might play season 1 and be like, I'll be back in another season. You might play season 2 and say, I'm taking season 3 off. You might be playing season 3 and you already have made up in your mind that season 4, you're just done. And you start to play other games during that break. You go somewhere else during that break. Then that break might extend months. And some of you are watching this video. Some of you are still in tune and tapped in to the 2K community just because it's something that you like to do. But you've been on break from 2K for years. There's a chance you might come back, but there's also a chance you might not. But that is the second sign that lets you know that you're washed when your breaks are extensive. You see, they creep in little by little. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 30, an hour, hour and a half, 3 hours. Next thing you know, it's 3 days. Next thing you know, it's a week. And then you get to my stage when it's like a whole month or a month and a half. Whenever a season is, that's how long you just ain't playing the game. That's the second sign. The third sign, you start to play career. Now, a lot of us, we're all the same, yet we're different. But a lot of us are part of this community. There was a point in time in your life outside of when you originally started, if you were around in the early stages of career, you don't even know what a career story is. You loaded up career and went straight online and been hooping ever since. You can't stand career. You didn't see the premise of career and what it was for. Playing the AI. And then some of us had to start playing the AI regularly because that's how we would get our badges. You go in there, you play, you get your badges up, badge progress, kind of learn the game, but then you're immediately online. But you know that you're washed when you start to play career just for the story. Just for the story. Just to become the GOAT. You see, because Now you have reached that stage where you rather play against the AI in career than to go online and deal with the online shenanigans that this community possesses, that this game possesses. And that lets you know that you're washed, because you are willingly making a decision to stop playing against users and to go play against AIs. And I don't blame you. It's not your fault. I don't judge you for doing that. I understand. See, prior to my washing, I wouldn't have understood. But see, now that I've been washed and the things on this list that I'm giving you are things that I have experienced and I have done for myself, it's okay. I've literally made new players just to try to experience the career story, but I can't get through it. I can't do it. After about that third game, maybe even that third quarter of that first game of that career, you just turn the game off. But it's not your fault though. You're just washed. You're washed. And it's okay. Accept your new reality and adjust to life with this new reality. Now the fourth thing, this one might be very relative or relatable to a lot of you that hear this, that make it this far. The fourth thing is you start to envision your life without gaming as a whole, but especially without 2K. Now this one here, this is a lot here, because this one here, this is the one where you start to sit on the couch or your bed or your chair and you just start to envision what life will be like or is going to be like when the hobby of playing video games or the hobby of playing 2K is no longer there. This right here is almost the sign of the end. The end times are among you if this is you. If you start to envision life for the things it has to offer over this game. Because you're not alone. You're not alone. And there's some people right now in this community that ain't reached this stage yet. You see, there was a stage in your life, my life as well. You didn't even envision life without 2K. Actually, you envisioned becoming a creator in this space. You started streaming it on your PlayStation or your Xbox, probably on Mixer. You started posting mixtapes and highlight tapes and posting them to your social media pages because you was almost on the stage. You thought you was so good at this game that you was going to be a creator in this space and be great. Then the 2K League started to take off, and it's just like, I'm gonna make that league. I'm gonna make that league. And you didn't even envision anything outside of 2K. But then something happened. Oh yeah, something happened. And now you find yourself, you might be sitting at the loading screen of 2K, the home screen with the things just flashing back and forth, telling you to buy the battle pass for $20. It's just flashing there. And you just trying to hit career, but that thing keep popping up when you're hitting X, and you got to back out of it because you almost purchase it every single day you load up the game, every single day. But you might just sit there and you just start to be like, man, what would life be like? What if I just start going to the gym, or I start to like watch sports, try to get into another sport to watch? Because I mean, let's be real, I don't think a lot of us watch basketball no more. Basketball ain't that exciting right now. I think you got it on in the background, you know, you multitasking. The basketball's on one of your screens while you're still doing something else. But as far as like fully engaging into a basketball game, I'm sure more people than not aren't doing that anymore. But now you're just at the stage where you're starting to envision, like, should I just start going on walks? Maybe, you know, for those of you who don't deal with women, maybe it's like, maybe this is the time I should start entertaining more women. You know, just doing something else to pass the time without it. For those of you who do deal with women and you understand, now you starting to think about marriage. You're starting to think about commitment. You're starting to think about what would life be like if I had a girl or wife and we start building together and then kids are involved. Like, what is that life like? Because the game has pushed you to a new stratosphere where you just don't see yourself playing 2K or video games that much longer. These are the end times. You're in the end times if you've gotten to this stage. And if you are 4 for 4 right now on the signs, then brother, you're washed. Sister, you're washed. There's nothing else you can do. You see, you're almost at the end. You're in the fourth quarter now. You're in your last couple minutes of the game. You're going to be subbing out. You're going to be retiring soon. But it's okay. It's okay. Everyone gets to this stage at some point. Some are longer than others. We're experiencing it now. LeBron James is in his 22nd year of basketball. He's at the end times now. Some jokers have been retired in year 13, year 10, year 12, year 15. But it doesn't matter. They're going to get to a stage. Everybody's going to get to a stage where the end times are there. And you're just going to have to accept the new reality that's approaching. You are. And the final sign that you need to be aware of to really determine if you are truly washed or not is coming to the realization that 2K as a franchise, as a gaming company, has been cooked, has been tainted, has been intoxicated, has been bad, whatever terminology you want to use, since the inception of my career. And what do I mean by that? Let me tell you. Back when basketball games had competition, you had Live, you had 2K, you had NBA Ballers, you had Street Home Court, you had NBA The Life Volume 2, Volume 1, you had, and that might have been the other games. I can't think of the other ones, but that was like a mix. You had NCAA, March Madness, you had basketball games to pick from and choose from and play. But they were all pretty much the same. Some of them started career modes, like NBA The Life had a nice career story, but it was a fixed story. It was a story with a beginning and an end. You see, it wasn't a thing that you could carry on through career. But only a few of y'all might know about NBA The Life. For those of you who don't, search it up. NBA The Life, 07, 08, and I think they went to 09. It was a Kobe cover. Kobe was on one of the cover. Amari Stoudemire was on the cover. And I can't think of that last athlete, but it was like, it was a game. It was a game. It was a real game. Had a story mode and everything. Particularly, I remember a scene where a coach is telling your player to shut up, and your player's getting mad. Your player got mad, and he responded to the coach. But all in all, when there was competition, 2K stood out because 2K was probably the most simulation-based 5v5 game. You see, Live was the arcade game that was fun. You know, everybody had the same jumper in Live. You had the little player modifier, score modifier moves, the scores. You could hold R1 and hit a button. He'll do a fancy type of shot. Same with the playmakers and the dunkers and all that stuff. We remember those type of things, right? And 2K was a game that graphics were a little bit more crisp. You could see the sweat. That's where 2K really got me, is that you could see the sweat on your players. Your players will dunk the ball and the sweat will just be dripping off to be at the foul line. And you could see them progressively getting sweatier throughout the game. And each player had their own unique jumper. And it was just a time to be alive. And then 2K took it to the next level when it introduced my career in 2K10. And you was coming from you had the training things, and then you could possibly go down to the G League. Why do I know that? Because I got sent to the G League in career, because I wasn't that good when career came out. But eventually, I was able to win a championship in the G League, and I got called up to the NBA, and my career was started. But then you had that, and then in 2K11, they added the ability of press conferences and having these fixed answers that you can say. But in that same time, as they revolutionized the game, they separated themselves from every other basketball game, because now you have a career mode, a real one that is continuous, that you can go year and year and year and retire. Well, that's when the toxicity began, because for those of you who are around for 2K11 and you're not in the nostalgia chokehold and believe that was the greatest game ever made, because see, Twitter and people that tell you 2K11 was the greatest 2K to ever exist. That was the first thing with the Michael Jordan moments. And you had Magic, Larry, Michael on the cover, and you got to pick the cover that you wanted to buy. It was a great time, but it also was the beginning of the end, because with the incorporation of my career and the incorporation of allowing you to take your my career player and go online and play with other my career players in a mode called Crew, was the inception, the birth the genesis of the things that we experience today with the company. You see, if you weren't around in those days, you don't know what it was like. Nostalgia has you in the chokehold because of the moments that was there. But you guys were more toxic than the generation now in this game. Y'all might not have, I'm not even gonna say y'all might not have, because y'all did. Y'all was more toxic than this generation now. You see, this generation, only thing they could do is left, right, spam, behind the screen, have these glitchy moves in the game that's practically unguardable, and use a Cronus Zen, green every shot. That's pretty much all they can do. But see, y'all was in the era of hacking skill points. Y'all was in the era of using 8-foot players to sub in the game once you was about to lose and then dunk the game out and freeze it. Y'all was in the era of the lag switch, where y'all would just lag a game, especially when you was about to lose and it was a foul game. Now you lagging the game. And then when y'all lag the game out and you're at that screen saying, do you wish to continue? Now it's a wait. It's the battle of who's going to keep their system on the longest in order to receive the win. See, y'all don't know about that. Some of y'all may not know about that. Yes, sometimes somebody would lag the game out and you would have to sit there at that screen. Somebody would have to sit at that screen and hold that screen longer than the other team held it just for your team to get a win. So essentially, you know how 2K ends, right? You know when 2K25 lags out right now and it's that black screen in the back and then it says connecting to the 2K server or whatever, and then you can hit quit or something. Now imagine that, right? Imagine having to sit at that screen, and in order to receive the win, you had to keep your system on at that screen longer than the other team kept their system on at that screen just to get one win. That's what these people were doing. That's what was occurring in 2K11. 2K11 had the Evan Turner fadeaway, the Chris Paul free throw to help shoot through the jump, the lag, shoot your free throws through the lag because it was quick. So you had the Chris Paul free throw, the Evan Turner fadeaway. Back in those days, you can have a contested system of left and right contest, the Kobe and Melo. I forgot which one goes with which, but you can either shoot Kobe left and Melo right, or Melo right and Kobe left, one of them. And then you had the Springs jumper. You had the set shot 13 Chucky Atkins jumper, and you had these certain jumpers that worked and certain jumpers that didn't. You had the lookalike players, and I mean, 2K11 was so toxic. Listen, 2K11 was so toxic that the following year, you couldn't even play online with your player anymore. They completely removed it. I think the only thing you can do with your player was play like Blacktop or something. Like 3v3 Blacktop or something like that. And 2K11 was so toxic that they have yet 14 years prior to the mode called Crew, they have yet to bring that mode back because of how toxic it was. 2K11 was so toxic, they switched to VC system that you're on today. People were hacking and abusing 2K11 to the point where now they have put the virtual currency in the game. And then a lot of y'all are stuck on 2K15 and 16s of the world, and that's where a lot of y'all probably got y'all fame. For the content creators, y'all probably got famous then, and it was all fun and everything, but y'all not fooling nobody. You look back at them times now, and it's just a nostalgia chokehold. Because in that moment, it might have been fun, but in that moment, you were younger. Your mind was different. There's things now at your age that you like to do 10 years ago that you don't like to do no more. It's not that thing didn't change. You changed. You know that you changed. Even some things you done 5 years ago, you don't do no more. Why? Because you changed. Your mind changed. Everything shifted. So the number one sign of knowing that you're washed is when you actually sit back and you look in retrospect of this franchise, you realize for the last 15 years, this franchise has never changed. It's never changed. 2K has always been about the glitchiest, spammiest players will always be regarded as the better players or the best players. And the least amount of spammy and glitchy that you are, the trasher you are. That has been the title, the civil war of 2K since the entire existence. 15 years in the making. 14 years in the making. 2K11, we're in 2K25. 14 years in the making. This game has been the exact same premise. Things might have altered and switched a little bit, but it's the same premise. Whoever spams the most, whoever can get glitchy the most, will always be regarded as the best player. Whether it's boring to watch, whether it's the fakest thing you ever seen, whether it doesn't correlate to real life basketball at all, the glitchiest players will always reign supreme. It's been there since the inception of the players that have played this game. And it's just been a generational curse that's just been passed down through the years. The jokers in 2K11 who was doing the glitching stuff moved on to 2K12. Then, and when they didn't have anything in 2K12, 2K13 came back, and the same jokers from 2K11 brought more people and introduced more people to the game for 2K13. And then the 2K13 people introduced more people and brought more people to the game for 2K14. And it went on and on. And each year, more people are gathered who are being taught by glitchers and spammers. And then they get brought into the fold. They glitch, they spam, they become great. Then they teach to somebody else. And then they keep passing it down and passing it down and passing it down. And then we get here 14 years later in that 14th iteration of the career game. And it's the same thing. The only thing that has changed in the last 14 years is you, is me, is us. We have become washed now. The patience that we had for the foolery that was going on in our peak playing days, we have lost that patience. It's the same game. It's the same premise. It's the same style. It just looked different. It looks better. And you just have become sick of it because you have become washed. That's it. That's it. And if you have checked all 5 boxes of these 5 signs, then I'm sorry to tell you, you are washed. And come join me on the Washed Island, where we just go on ahead. We accept our reality. We don't try to fight it. We don't try to say that we're still like that, and we just go ahead and ride off into the sunset on the island, and we start to live life post 2K. We have has-been stories. We'll tell our nostalgia stories to some people who used to play 2K, or some young folk now that's gonna be playing 2K, and you just tell them like stories about older 2Ks that they might not have experienced because they weren't around, and just laugh and enjoy life. Because if we're 14 years into this generational curse that we have put among ourselves, guess what next year is going to be? The same and worse. See, each iteration of 2K has gotten worse and worse and worse and worse over time. And yes, 2K's at fault for changing some of their things and the things that the standards that they used to have, they might have lowered them now prior to before. But at the same time, the people who are playing now are worse minded than the people who were before them. They're worse minded. Just like real life. The generation before you think you stupid. The generation before them think they stupid. The generation before them think they're stupid. Now, you're part of a generation where the generation before you thought that you was a glitchy, spamming piece of crap and they wasn't playing you no more. Now our generation is starting to become them. Because now we're playing against a new iteration of players who have no type of moral or respect for anything basketball related. It's about cooking you. I don't care how many shots I take. I don't care how my teammates feel. I don't care what it looked like. If I beat you, I'ma talk crazy. If you beat me, I'ma think that you're trash. And guess what? That generation below us is gonna get to our side, and then the new era is gonna rush in, and then they're gonna be doing the same thing to the next. This is gonna be the same cycle until the 2K devs in or divine intervention happens, and 2K becomes a different aspect than what we once knew. Because 2K is no longer about basketball anymore. 2K is not a basketball game anymore. It's a culture game. It's a culture game. It's a game about culture, ads, revenue. You see, instead of us just rolling the ball out and playing basketball now, You got folks that's buying designer clothes and they judging you off of the clothes that you wear. How many times you been in the wreck and the dude got on 2K shoes and you feel offended because he got on 2K shoes and he giving you the work? When you in a park, a joker in a brown shirt and sweatpants is giving you the work, and you out here in this designer dripped out fashion with these tattoos all over your body, and you still getting cooked. I mean, that look has become iconic to the point where people are troll and put that outfit on just because we know you gonna be mad if you're getting cooked. Imagine getting cooked by somebody with no accessories. Like, he ain't even got a finger tape on. He ain't even got a wristband. He just straight naked armed and naked legged. You gonna feel some type of way about that. It's all right though. It's all right. You're washed. I'm washed. Let's just go ahead and take our wash behinds. Finish these seasons to the best of our ability. If we get to 40, we get to 40. If we don't, we don't. It's okay. It's all well. We're moving into the next iteration of life. And it's something to enjoy and something to look forward to. Sorry for taking up your time, but if you have made it to the end of this video, you're welcome.